To whoever is watching this, I'm begging you to just start. Just put yourself out there. Do the thing. Make the YouTube channel, make the TikTok page, talk to that person, get that mentor, put yourself out there. Take a risk. Even if it's not fleshed out, even if it's not perfect, even if you feel ugly or not ready, you are never going to feel ready. Understand that. You will never feel ready. The feeling of readiness only comes by putting yourself out there and seeing how people respond to it and iterating over time. It will never happen if you don't put yourself out there. You have to start. You have to start. And you have to start because true learning does not happen until you actually do something and receive feedback. It doesn't happen by reading a bunch of self-help books or even watching a bunch of YouTube videos. And here's the thing, you can hear me say that and think, oh yeah, that's true, but that thinking, okay, yeah, that's true, that thought is 100% pointless if you don't take that and do something with it and change something in your life. That won't click for a lot of people until they experience success doing the thing. It didn't click for me until I put myself out there and did the thing. And here's the even crazier thing, okay? If none of that inspired you, hear this. There are people out there right now doing the thing that you can do well, who are less talented than you are and less insightful, and they are seeing crazy success just because they're showing up, being consistent, and doing the work. You can do it. You just need to show up. And people want to hear what you have to say. You 100% have value that someone else is interested in hearing, that someone else is interested in learning about, that someone is interested in having. We all have value. All of us. It's just a matter of finding that value and putting it out there. And once you put it out there, other people will find you. They literally will find you. And I'll get into this. I'll get into how I took a chance on myself and just started posting and people found me. So growing up, I was really into self-improvement. And at 18, I was like reading a bunch of self-improvement books and listening to self-improvement dude bros talk about how to make your life better, how to be a better person, how to put things out there, how to iterate, da-da-da-da. I was doing all of that stuff. And it didn't matter because I wasn't actually doing the thing. I was just reading about it. I was spending more time consuming their content and reading their books than I was implementing the stuff that they were talking about in those books. I was studying personal finance and how to achieve financial independence. I was studying health, physically and mental health, and I was just studying how to set yourself apart in a world that has programmed us to go into a 9-to-5 type job where we're building someone else's dream, and how to separate yourself from that and still build wealth and still achieve happiness. The whole like health, wealth, love, happiness thing. Like I was into that. I wasn't ready and I didn't take myself seriously for a long time. But something changed this summer. And I want to talk about that because it's important. So since I've been in college, I've pretty much gone down like the software engineering tech person route, and I've done 2 software engineering internships. During my most recent software engineering internship at a big tech company, I was miserable the whole time. The whole fucking time. And the reason that I was miserable, even though I didn't understand it at the time, is because I always had this nagging feeling in the back of my head that what I was doing was incongruent with what my true calling was, with what I actually wanted to do. And as I was sitting in those meetings, and when I would go to the office and sit around a bunch of other people who were just sitting quiet, writing lines of code, like I knew that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life, and it didn't matter how much money I was making. And at that time, during the internship, I was making good money. I was making more money than I had ever made, and more money than my parents had ever made, but I was totally miserable. I was surrounded by people that I didn't feel aligned with. I didn't feel connected to the work that I was doing, and like, I wasn't having fun. I mean, point blank period. I wasn't having fun, and I didn't feel like I was growing as a person in the way that I wanted to grow. Now, I was growing in the sense that I was realizing, okay, this isn't what I want to do. And that's good growth. But that's not the kind of growth that you want in a long-term job, right? And a long-term project and a long-term career that brings you fulfillment. It didn't seem like the type of thing I wanted to stay in. I didn't want to build someone else's dream. I've always wanted to build my own dream. But I never took myself seriously. The life that I've always wanted since I was 14 is to, 1, be location independent, meaning I can work and make money anywhere in the world. 2, have passive income. So when I was young, when I was 18, reading all those finance books, something that stuck out to me was the concept of passive income, which basically means making money in your sleep. You create something, you either create a tangible product or you create a piece of content that people consume, and that piece of content or that product generates money all the time. It's evergreen. So you put it out, it's done, you've put in the work. Say it took you 10 hours to create this product or this piece of content. You put that work out, and you could have spent that 10 hours working at a Starbucks and making $10 an hour, then you have $100. Or you have the 10 hours that you put into creating this digital product, and it can continue generating wealth for you on its own. It's still working for you after it's been created. That versus doing something like my software engineering internship, where I, as an intern, was being paid by the hour. But if I were to go back full time, I would have been making a salary. But the thing is, you're still exchanging your hours for money. You're exchanging your time and expertise for money. It's a contract, and that contract can be revoked at any time, especially with the rise of AI in tech. There's not a single person in tech that doesn't know someone that hasn't been laid off from a tech company. I don't like that. I like the idea of having multiple streams of income by working on things that I'm actually passionate about that actually help people and bring me fulfillment. So, for context, before working at that company, the way that I was making money was by door dashing. Okay? And for a lot of other interns, before working at that company, were just working regular jobs that you'd work in college by, like door dashing, working at Starbucks, whatever, just regular entry-level jobs. A lot of us had never seen money like that. And something that I noticed was lifestyle creep, which basically is like your spending increasing exponentially with your income. And because of that, when the people around you are spending more, it makes you want to spend more in a way where you want to like keep up with everyone else. It's like that whole keeping up with the Joneses mentality that ultimately is just a losing game. And the lifestyle just didn't feel aligned with the kind of life that I wanted. I've always wanted to travel. For me now, I want to travel in a van full time or as often as I can, which is why I'm in a van right now. I'd rather have fewer material possessions and fill my days creating things that help me grow and help other people grow at the same time. And you can do the same thing. And that's great because there are people doing that right now. And there are people likely doing the same thing that you want to do, showing up, being consistent, and making more money than you are right now. The point is showing up. You have to show up. Even scared, even not ready. So during that internship, I had a wake-up call. And this is when I decided to put myself out there. There was one day where an intern posted on LinkedIn about how they'd completed like 40 hours or so worth of courses to help them be a better employee at this company. And that was a great achievement for them. It was awesome, and they were obviously a very dedicated intern, and that's a great thing if you are the kind of person who wants to go into being a software engineer at a big tech company. That was awesome. But something they said stuck with me. They explained how much time they spent doing these courses outside of regular like 9 to 5 working hours. Like we're talking 5 to 9, 5 to midnight, working on these courses to be a better employee. And I thought to myself, okay, oh my god, good for them, but what if I spent that same amount of energy that I already have outside of work? What if I spent that same amount of energy and dedication and poured that into building myself and building something that will help other people instead of just pouring it into a giant corporation? What would that look like? So I started. I was located in San Francisco for my internship, and I had my car with me. So every weekend I would travel to a new location and car camp in BLM land or forests, and I would make videos about that. I would make videos about me traveling and being in these really cool locations just as myself, because I thought it was fun, and because I've been following the travel niche for a while, and a specific subset of the travel niche where young people between like ages 18 to 26, 27 get out in vans or cars and travel around the US or Canada or down into South America and do it super cheaply. And for these travelers, it's not about having the nicest setups and the nicest rigs. It's not about having the Mercedes Sprinter or the Ram ProMaster or these super expensive vans. It's about taking what you already have, getting out there and making connections. I was super into that space, and all of that content was so aspirational for me, because something that I saw a lot of that made me that inspired me a lot was just people just like me, people my age, who were having these incredible experiences in these insane locations. And they were just doing everyday things, like playing kickball or cooking breakfast in the Grand Tetons, out of their Honda Civic. Stuff like that is insanely aspirational to me, because it conveyed to me a feeling of freedom, autonomy, and not caring about material possessions and accruing debt and impressing people that you ultimately don't care about and that don't care about you. To me, it felt to the bone of what I want in my life. That's why I liked that content so much. But there was something about that content that bothered me, which it bothered me specifically. But I didn't see a lot of people like me in that niche, in that pocket of the internet. That specific pocket of the internet is really dominated by white cishet guys. Basically meaning just white guys who are not trans and who are straight, which is fine. You are who you are. But for me, I always wanted to see content from people who weren't basically all the same archetype of person. So I almost begrudgingly started making the content, because I am not that. I'm not white. I'm not cis. I'm not straight. And I think it's important for people of diverse perspectives to create content in that niche. I started creating the thing that I wanted because no one else was doing it. I found a problem and I decided to solve it by just putting myself out there. Because I know there are other people like me, there are other people of color, there are other trans people that are young, that are interested in travel like that are also interested in self-improvement and self-actualization and how to get to that point, that are interested in those steps between being someone a broke college student or just broke in general and working a job that you don't like, to getting to that point where you can travel full-time and you have a way to make money on the road and you are fostering connections and you are self-actualizing. That is the content that I was interested in. It's the content I'm still interested in. So that's why I started posting. Sorry about that. I had to close the doors to my van because I'm recording this video from a parking lot and someone is blasting music from their car. But I realized that, okay, well, this content from what I've seen doesn't really exist right now yet. So I think I have a lot to bring to the table and I have a lot to say about my experiences and self-actualization, travel, finance, all of it. Why don't I just make the content and see what happens? And hopefully I can find people that are also like me. Because ultimately that's what I wanted. I wanted community. I wanted to see more people like me. And one of the best ways to do that right now is to put yourself out there as you are, with even the qualities that you think are maybe scary. Like for me, talking about being non-binary right now in this political climate is not fun. And there are so many trolls everywhere. But for me, I came to realize that my insights as a Black non-binary person are important in this space, in this genre of self-actualization and travel, whatever you want to call it. And I think the benefit of making this content and reaching people who are like me, who may not be white, who might be trans or non-binary, or who might have ADHD like me, who are neurodivergent, who are interested in self-actualization, freedom, financial wellness, good relationships, health, all of that. I think reaching those people and creating that content outweighs the feelings of embarrassment from trolls in my comment section who have nothing better to do with their lives. That is the feeling that I had to push through, that you may need to push through in order to create the work that you want to create and put it out there, because it needs to be seen. You have perspectives, you have insights that other people would love to hear from. So do it. I didn't want my family and friends seeing my content when I first started making it. So I made a completely new Instagram page called Kin Gets Out. You can follow it if you want to follow me there. But I made that Instagram page and I just started making content when I'd be out car camping in BLM land or in forests and stuff. And I would make reels, and I was into it and I was having fun. And what I did was I replicated the content that was doing really well, that those other travel creators that I talked about were already putting out, because they were doing things that obviously were resonating with other people. So that's what I did. And I followed that formula, and my first, my first couple dozen Instagram reels got maybe a few hundred views, barely any interaction. I was just doing it because I wanted to do it, and I wanted to see what would happen. It was an experiment to me. And something about innovators and people that do well in business or in a lot of different facets of life, something about them that remains consistent is that they're not afraid to experiment and to iterate fast, which means to put something out there, and if it fails, good. They know that that doesn't work. They try something else. That's exactly what I was doing, but I was speed running it. So here's what I did. I made 3 reels a day, and I would make them at night because I'm the most creative at night. And I would post them and see how they did. And a lot of them didn't do well, but one of them hit the algorithm, and that brought attention to me. And then a few days later, I made another reel where I literally just took a clip that I recorded of myself in a desert in Moab, Utah, and I just put some text over it. And that one got to a million views and a bunch of interaction, and that blew me up. And from there, I just kept posting reels, and other ones have gone viral, this one went crazy because I was doing what I've been talking about the entire video. I was putting myself out there, and I was saying, this is what I want, and if you want this thing too, you should follow me. That got me over 4,000 followers in the span of a week. It was insane. And that only happened. All of that happened because I just pushed past my own self-limiting barriers in my head and put myself out there. And I was so scared about posting this TikTok because I was worried that trolls were going to come after me and call me all sorts of names and be rude. And they did in the beginning, so I turned off the comments because I didn't need to hear it. Even then, it did well because other people were resonating with it. And I had to pay attention to that. Seeing comments from people being what? This is stupid. No, you're... Whatever. That doesn't matter. What mattered is that resonated with people. You have to do it scared. I cannot emphasize this enough. You have to understand that the only thing that's going to hold you back from taking what you already have and putting it out there in the world is this. You have to push past it. You have to do the thing. And I wish that I understood that at 18. I'm 25 now, and I'm happy to be still young, and I'm happy that I'm understanding it now, and I'm happy that I'm really learning it by doing. But if you're watching this right now, don't wait another 7-8 years before you actually start taking action. Just fucking do the thing. Do the thing. So now, my software engineering internship is over. I'm back in Arkansas finishing my last year of college. Now I'm taking content creation a lot more seriously because I think that putting educational content on the internet will allow me to realize my dream of location independence and financial independence. Those are the 2 pillars that I want. I want to be able to be anywhere, whenever I want, and make money from those locations. I don't want to be stuck to a specific location, working specific hours for a specific company. That's not what I want. And it really took me being at that big tech company to really, really, really realize it. And it didn't matter that I was making stupid fucking money. it wasn't aligned with what I wanted, and I wasn't around people that were aligned with what I wanted. So now I have 14.5 thousand followers on Instagram. I don't know how this YouTube video is gonna go, but I'm trying it. And I'd like to grow a community here on YouTube as well, because YouTube pays creators and Instagram doesn't, so that's part of why I'm here. But also because I have more to say than can be captured in a short Instagram reel. Leaning into yourself and pouring into your ability to articulate your ideas and share the value that you intrinsically hold to an interested population gives you choices. For me, the blueprint was in front of me all along. Like, even when I was a kid, I enjoyed making videos. I had like a little GoPro and I would record myself skateboarding or whatever, and I liked editing them in Premiere Pro and adding cool effects and all this stuff. And I loved writing. It was always right there. I just got distracted along the way. But that's okay. That's life. But man, I really wish that I'd taken action earlier when I had the same amount of ambition that I have now. I really wish that I did. If you are at this point in this long-ass YouTube video now, you have all of the tools that you need. You don't need fancy setup. You don't need a nice camera. If you have a phone, you can do exactly what this is. Download YouTube, put videos out. Download Instagram, put your content out there. People will find you. The people that are interested in what you have to share will find you. You just have to keep showing up. You don't have to show up perfect. You don't have to show up pretty. Just show up. See what other people are doing. See what works for them. Replicate that. Put your own twist on it. And be consistent. Show up. So, make the channel. Do it scared. Do it scared. Do the thing. Get over yourself. There's nothing else you need to know. Like, do the thing. Doing this gives you choices. It has given me choices. Like, it's really made me think, okay, do I want to take all of the energy that I have and all of my time and push it into a faceless corporation? Or do I want to put all of that into building something that truly matters to me and to people around me? Corporations ultimately care about their bottom line, and that's profit and increasing shareholder value. It just is the way that it is. And I think that to continue going along with the 9-to-5, work for a good company, find a good career, programming that has been instilled in us since elementary school, I think that puts us at a disadvantage. It's good for making money, but as far as like building something that lasts and that matters and creates real value in the world because it's coming from a place of passion and truth, I think that's being yourself and taking your art or whatever value that you have and putting it on the internet and finding other people like you and fostering community and creating and solving problems within that community. I think that is where true value is at. And I think people that understand that and that do that work are people that are going to succeed. So, I'm gonna go get a burrito on campus, and I hope you do that thing that you've been wanting to do. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon, I have an Instagram, I just got on Threads. You can follow me on any of those. Thank you for watching, and go do it scared. Go do the fucking thing!